I thought I'd take the time today while the range is fairly quiet to go over a couple of different um, long range rifles of my own um, and kind of three iterations of what you might see as far as what some would consider a custom rifle. Um, Custom rifle to some might mean something different than to others. But I thought I would just go through, and I'll go through in levels of what I consider custom to what we use on this channel to shoot all types of long range. So first of all, we have what would be a very common thing to see at the range. Local range here is out to 600 yards, and you will often see a setup like this first one here. So this is a Bergara B14 HMR barreled action, and it started as exactly that. It's my son's hunting rifle, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. It's not what I would consider a custom rifle, although it has obviously been kind of built and modified for its purpose. So it is a very affordable platform to start with. It's a versatile platform to start with, as it's a 700 footprint. So you can, there's a lot of accessories available for that. This one again is in 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a Bergara barreled action. Comes with a threaded barrel. You can see I've got the suppressor on it now. I use a Yankee Hill Machine Resonator R2, and part of the reason I use it, it's a very nice sounding can, but also it's very versatile. It's a 30 cal can, and if you notice on all of my rifles, I believe I have 7 or 8 different rifles that have the same QD configuration where I can take this can on and off of any of these rifles and use it. And the point of impact shift is very repeatable. There is one, but it's very repeatable. And so if you keep track of those offsets, you can take the can on and off, and it'll be perfectly accurate. And we can talk a little bit more about that when we talk about some of the purposes of my other rifles. So again, Bergara Action, that one's in a KRG Bravo stock. Very affordable, but it has a nice backbone mini chassis built into it. It's a nice kind of entry level chassis stock um, um, option. So it's got a 30 MOA base on it. Went with 30 just to be able to kind of maximize the effective range of a 6.5 Creedmoor. It's got Steiner rings with a built-in level, and then Arken Optics 5 to 25 by 56, the EP5 model. So this is a very common setup, and it's a great setup for normal kind of plinking, hunting, that sort of stuff. It's not very heavy. It's a shorter barrel. I believe it's a 22-inch barrel or 24. I don't recall. But I use it for coyote hunting. My son uses it for deer hunting. All in, you get $2,000 maybe into it. It runs the MDT mags really well in this setup. But I don't consider this a custom rifle. It does have a Timney trigger in it. This is not a custom rifle. It is a upgraded factory rifle, realistically. So some of the limitations here, it's a normal kind of factory gun where I can achieve half of minute, but it's not common. It's more of a 3/4 minute gun consistently, which is fine. It's perfectly adequate for plinking out at 600 yards here at the range, or um, deer hunting, or hog hunting, or coyote hunting, or any of those options. But that is a limiting factor in this setup. I shot low PRS with it last year trying to do the production rifle thing, and I just found that it just wasn't accurate enough when you have a 1.5 inch or a 1.5 MOA target and you're trying to shoot that positionally, and with wind and everything, half of your accuracy is eaten up by the rifle, and it doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for dispersion um, when you're trying to do difficult things, shooting off a difficult position. The other limiting factor here, honestly, is the Arken. I sell Arken to people on a budget, or someone that's just kind of starting off, or just somebody who's never had turrets on their scope before. Arken's a great option. For a lot of people, $500 for a scope is a lot, and that's okay. But if you're really serious into long range, you will find it to be uh, a limiting factor. I shot some PRS with one last year. It worked, but anybody who's going to tell you that that scope, $500 scope, is comparable with any of the high-end scopes, I'm sorry, but it's just not the truth. I own some pretty nice scopes, and I'm sorry, it's just not the case. Now, does it play up to a lot of the Vortexes and Athlon models that are more expensive? Absolutely. The turrets are very, very tactile. They're very easy to read. I think that's probably um, the best feature of them. I had tried a couple of them, and I'm not super impressed with the EP5's glass. It's not a snobby thing or anything like that. It's just that the fact of the matter is it's just not that great. I mean, it's okay for 22 NRL 22, something like that, but for past like 500-600 yards, you can do it absolutely. But man, if you've ever looked through a truly high-end scope, um, it's just not there. So that's the Bergera. That's some of its limiting factors, but a great rifle as far as for the bang for your buck, like being able to come out here and shoot 500-600 yards and do it pretty consistently. Sure. Okay. So next, we're gonna go a little bit out of order as far as like what the rifles do, capabilities wise. But this is the next rifle I wanted to talk about, and this is what I would consider a custom, but it's about an 8 or 9 year old build here of it's a Remington 700 in 7mm Magnum. This rifle I had built, I had bought it as a new Remington model 700 SPS, basic model, with the intention of, $500-600 unit that I'm going to be able to eventually rebarrel, and just starting with the footprint. Now at the time there was not as many options as there is now. Now there are so many good options as far as actions and custom actions go that had I to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't do that, but that gun will never leave me. So this rifle was built by 9 Run Gun in Georgia. Michael Deloach, he's a great guy, known for very accurate F-class and high-end hunting rifles specifically, but he'll build you whatever you want. And so I sent that down to him. The only thing that's left Remington 700 of this is the action itself and the bolt housing. And those were both trued by him, blueprinted, trued, same difference. But basically he machines it, squares it up, chases the threads, makes sure everything's square. Then he takes the bolt and reworks chews the face of that, and then also for engagement's sake works on the lugs to make sure that it locks up really nice. So if you run the action on that, it is an incredibly smooth action. Now granted, it's got 3,000 rounds or so through it total, so that helps too. But so had him built that. He put a custom bolt handle on it, and then I replaced all the interior firing control of the bolt with tub precision firing pin and spring set and all of that. So that's the action. It's got an upgraded recoil lug, and then it's fitted to a 28-inch Brux barrel. Again, this is a 7mm. It's in a 1-in-8 twist. 28-inch barrel threaded. I've got the Yankee Hill Machine muzzle brake on there. I actually had it built with a Fat Bastard brake, like flush to it, and it looks really smooth and great, but the gun's really nice to shoot suppressed. So again, part of the attraction to the QDs is the versatility of it for the cans. So it's fitted to an XLR chassis, obviously a long action chassis, with the night vision mount, and I really like that. It's got the folding stock, it's got the bag rider. So at the time, again, not as many options, but I really like this XLR, and it holds up. I love it. I would like to change the grip on it eventually, but for now, it's a great rifle, very repeatable. It takes accurate or AI mags in the Magnum configuration. It's fitted to a 55 MOA, I believe, canted base. It's a Nightforce base that has the recoil lug fit in it. And I did that to optimize. It's either a 55 or a 60. to optimize the attacker scope. So the attacker scope has 125 minutes of overall internal elevation. So by doing that, I've got a few minutes below at a 100-yard zero, but then I have like 122 minutes of up travel, which gets me out to like almost 2,200 yards with this. So this rifle was built to shoot a mile specifically. I had access to a place to do so, and I built the rifle to shoot long range, ELR, entry-level ELR with. So it's fairly light compared to any of the normal ELR guns, but it's built for that purpose. It's got ARC rings, American Rifle Company rings, really like those. Again, a 5 to 25 by 56 Nightforce Attacker, which has been a great scope for me. I've had it as long as I built, I believe 8 years. It's been a great scope. It's done everything I've asked it to do. Got the Atlas 5H bipod, which is the heavy duty kind of Magnum size, big wide footprint. It also changes the pivot point, kind of changes your pivot point to the barrel, so it kind of eliminates a lot of the movement that you get in any play in the bipod. This one's got a Jewel trigger, nice trigger. Not my favorite of all of them that I have, but it does work nice. So this gun has done everything from deer hunting, about a dozen deer or so with it, to shooting out to 2,000 yards, to shooting F-class. I've shot 600 and 1,000 yard F-class with it, and literally the gun's done everything I've ever asked it to do. Can't be happier with it. Now, would I go about is that the best option? This is a truly custom rifle, right? It isn't a custom action, but the action was modified and the gun was built around the action. Would I go that route again? I don't really know. I kind of want to build a 300 blackout bolt gun, and I'd probably, if I could find a cheap 223 or 222 action, Remington 700 action, get a cheap action and build it off that, I probably would do that. But there's so many options now as far as custom rifles that I don't know that that's necessarily the best option. So kind of not a custom rifle, custom built rifle, right, to a actual gunsmith custom rifle, with a truly match grade barrel and all the fixings. To this. So this is my match rifle. So this is the rifle that I used in Precision Rifle Series. This rifle was built specifically for Precision Rifle Series, but it's also a very versatile rifle in that I actually deer hunted with it this year. The first deer that I took this year with it, I took with this. This is the Curtis Customs Vector. So this is a quick change action, custom action, really, really nicely machined action. I believe they're out of Texas, and I have 5 barrels for this gun. So I have 2 of the 6 BRA, which is a Bentress Ackley improved. I've got those for the match stuff, and I've got a 6x47 and a 6.5x47 barrels. One thing I would like to get for it too is a 708 or something in that kind of configuration with the same bolt face. But this is literally, I can change barrels at the range in 5 minutes. And it's very repeatable. You can set offsets if you want. I don't do that, but the beauty of that is that I can use an old or spare barrel or a different caliber that's got more recoil for your practice, and then I'm not burning up components. So oftentimes I'll put the 6.5x47 barrel on because I have a lot more 6.5 bullets and that stuff, and I will actually practice with this rifle here between matches, and then it's as simple as before the match I switch the barrel back, check my zero, and good to go. And it's been super repeatable. But so custom action, all my barrels are Bartlein. Lucky to live in Wisconsin where most of the best barrel makers are made. Both Bartlein and Brux here are both here in Wisconsin as well. It's in a MDT ACC chassis. It's got some internal weights, some external weights. I also have the Baker wings. This is just set up for positional shooting to give you a little bit more side-to-side stability. This one takes the AW mag, which is a double stack, Accuracy International AW. Feeds really smooth, loads really easily. It's great. This has the adjustable MDT grip, This chassis super modular. It's great. It's got a built-in ARCA. I've got the Atlas. It's kind of standard PRS bipod on this one with the Area 419 quick detach. So up top, this Action has a machined built-in recall lug as well as a 20 MOA base built into it. So that's just part of the custom Action portion is the fact that you have all these little touches, like everything's already rigid and structurally built into it. This is also a 3-lug 60 degree, so it's a super smooth, super easy and fast Action. And then this particular Action has a TriggerTech diamond trigger in it. What else? So the base is a Hawkins one-piece base, is a 1.275 inch rise, and that has a built-in scope level, and I also have the diving board here. I don't use the diving board for much other than a hand spot and just a little bit of physical protection when I'm banging this thing in and out of different props in competition. So obviously the scope is a Tangent Theta 5-25 by 56, their professional model, and it is I find very few people that would argue that it is the finest scope on the planet, and it truly is. It's an amazing scope, parallax free basically, incredible glass, and obviously an expensive scope. You know, I think the MSRP, or actually the going rate for this one with the Gen 3 XR reticle, is $5,190 at this time. So that's a lot of money. But it is incredible, as they claim to have the clickiest clicks. Their turrets are great. I've got the turret wrap on here. It's a custom turret label that I can mark with markers for PRS. Looks kind of whatever aesthetically, but for usage, for the game that I play, it's super fast and fun. This scope also features no toolless re-zero, and it also sets the zero stop automatically, which is super nice. But I found it to do it. I mean, it is the most, well, arguably best and most expensive scope on the planet, so it should do everything really well. But it does, and there's no question. You can set these all next to each other. Nightforce a long time was the kind of one of the 2 benchmark scopes, and there's a few other ones that have come out since, but like we've done comparisons with Zero Compromise, Schmidt & Bender, all next to each other at my mile shoot, and it really is incredible the way that it cuts Mirage and the clarity and everything. So, but you get what you pay for. So limitation on this one, not much. Honestly, I can switch barrels if I need to go further or harder or whatever. When I hold a 1 mile shoot here in Wisconsin, and obviously this will be my primary rifle for that, the 7mm, which actually this year I was able to land a first round cold bore impact on our little cold bore shootout, which was a buy-in thing, and that was pretty cool. But I had switched the barrel on this one to the 6.5 by 47, just so that we could shoot the 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, and that, and stand a chance compared to the 6mm. Not that they can't do it, but it's just really hard to even spot for. So that's it, really. These are my 3 rigs, all different levels. Obviously, you've got something around just under $2,000 or so. This one's closer to the $10,000 range, and then this one over $10,000, which is kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, I use them. If you look at it, guys that have a $70,000, $90,000 boat, or a snowmobile or a side-by-side or any of the stuff, it's a lot of money, but I use the stuff all the time. Yeah, that's about it for today. Just wanted to kind of share what I'm using and a little bit of my experience with that stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. Comment below what is your custom rifle.